Good morning, and welcome back to another Saturday Somm-things with Mats. Hi, I'm Mats, and it's a special, busy weekend here at the Argonaut. It is Star Wars Day, so may the 4th be with you. It is also Kentucky Derby Day. I'm wearing my Kentucky Derby shirt, and Cinco de Mayo. So today, I have a first-timer at the table. His name is Spencer Barnes, and he is the field sales manager for Constellation brands and all things amazing. And today we're going to discover these 4 wines that are going to be poured at the first annual Denver included Grand Wine Tour tasting on May 11th. So Spencer, welcome to the table.
Thank you. Happy to be
And
here.
let's get into these 90-point plus wines that will be poured.
Yeah, so next weekend, May 11th, we've got the Wine Spectator Grand Tour that's happening here in Denver. First time it's been in Denver, and these are 4 of the wineries that are going to be showcased from Constellation. So excited to be here. First one we're going to be trying is from Lingua Franca. This is the Lingua Franca Pinot Noir, the estate Pinot Noir. So everything is grown on the estate. It is started by this gentleman named Larry Stone in conjunction with Dominique Lafon and Thomas Sauve. Now, all of these 3 people individually all have some crazy accolades in history in the wine and hospitality world. Dominique Lafon is the premier Meursault producer in France. Larry was the 9th American to ever get Master Sommelier designation. He was the first American to be the best Somm in the world. And then he started a couple restaurants, one being Rubicon with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams and Francis Ford Coppola. He also ran the wine program at Charlie Trotter's in Chicago. And then he started getting into the wine world. So he started another winery called Evening Land, which is right across the street from Lingua Franca. This was an old kind of rundown vineyard that was right across from Evening Land. And so he purchased this in 2012 and got this up and running and immediately started making just some really ripping Pinot Noirs. People say it's in a Burgundian style, but really it's Pinot Noir that is very terroir driven for Oregon. But it is reminiscent of Burgundy for sure, because we're all on the same parallel, right?
You can smell it.
Yeah, in the Willamette Valley, if you go right across, it's very similar parallels, and so similar climate, and just makes really amazing Pinot Noirs. This is from a large portion of the wines that are from in this bottle come from the upper portions of their plot, so the 1 and 2 blocks. So a little bit higher on the hill, more sun exposure, more wind exposure, so it creates a little bit more robust skin on the grapes and creates a little bit more body. It's a pretty fantastic wine. Really,
it is
dry, savory, has almost some like wild notes to it, and it's just one of my favorites.
Definitely a food wine. You want to pair this with food because it is tight, it is tannic. You get a lot of herbaceous and herbal notes, sage, thyme, forest floor. It's a big wine. It's not your average Oregon Pinot Noir. And as you mentioned, Thomas is the winemaker, and he does a great job. And we just started carrying this at Argonaut, so it's something to behold. It's something to discover, which will take us to Italy.
Yes, Italy. So Ruffino Estates. This was a winery that started with 2 cousins, Ilario and Leopoldo Ruffino, back in 1877. And within 15 years of them starting their winery, they got enough attention that they had the Duke of Valdosta come in. So the royal family made the trek to Ruffino and dubbed them the official winemaker of the royal family in Italy. So they've been around for quite a long time, and they're still making some really amazing wines. The 2015 was an amazing vintage for Montalcino, specifically in Tuscany. This is their Brunello del Montalcino, the standard, correct?
Right, right.
So 2015, perfect growing season. In order for something to be dubbed Brunello, it needs to be 100% Sangiovese Grosso. It needs to be released, I think it's 5 vintages after on January 1st. 5 years after it was harvested. It needs to be aged for at least 24 months in oak, and then another additional 4 months in bottle. This meets all of those requirements. They use sort of a traditional approach to these wines, where they use big Slovenian oak barrels instead of the smaller one. Kind of when you're thinking of Italian winemakers, there's a large sort of divergence with traditional versus modern winemaking, modern being aging in smaller barrels, traditional being in larger ones. And so this is sort of more in that traditional camp. I like to think of Brunello's as sort of like the James Bond of wine. So it's leather, it's
tobacco.
got a lot of, tobacco. It's got a lot of really savory notes, really big and bold.
Yeah.
And this one in the bottle right now, I think it's a little tight, but if you're going to open this up half an hour to an hour before having guests over,
at least,
this would be a fantastic wine if you're going to be having like a Florentine steak or a big tomahawk. I like to think if it grows together, it goes together. In Tuscany, there's a lot of wild boar.
Sure.
So if you have some like wild boar cingale pastas or something like that, this would pair perfectly with it.
I mean, Spencer, I've been swirling because I'm looking at the wonderful sediment and the gorgeousness and the legs and the glass, because it is so big for a Brunello. It's a DOCG, and it is tight, gripping, tannic, like you said, bistecca fiorentina or pasta. Don't forget pasta. We need garlic with this.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And now we need to go to Napa Valley.
Yep. So we're going into New World now, back to New World, I should say, on the West Coast. We've got Robert Mondavi. So I would say that Robert Mondavi is ubiquitous to California wines, as Ruffino is to Chianti Classico or to Italian wines. So Robert Mondavi started this in 1966 and has sort of been the godfather of California wines. We would not be drinking California wines if it wasn't for what Robert Mondavi has done for the market. So
this is just stunning. And I'm thinking, no matter what he puts out, low tier, high end, it's always consistent. It's always consistently good. Spencer, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can always rely on Mondavi.
Yeah, Mondavi's been around for quite a long time, and that's for a reason. So the 2019, we're going to be doing side-by-sides, the 2019 Mount Veeder and the 2019 Robert Mondavi. This was a winemaker's dream in terms of vintages in California. This was fantastic for Cab Sauv.
And everybody, keep in mind, these vintages happened before the great fires of California, so they're in their prime. They're stunning. I'm getting a lot of cassis and black cherry, cocoa, cola, some black licorice.
Yeah, you're definitely going to pick up a little bit more red fruit in the Robert Mondavi just because it's from the Valley floor. It's sourced from, predominantly the majority of the juice in here is from Oakville, but then they also source from Yountville, Stag's Leap, Rutherford. So it's got, I would say it's a little bit more red fruited.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
as we move into the Mount Veeder, we're going to get a little bit more black fruit and blue fruits just because it's some mountain wine.
So let's skip our way over to Mount Veeder. It's been a great Grand Tour wine tasting so far at the table. Okay, Spencer.
Yeah, so this was started by a couple, the Bernsteins, in 1963. They purchased a 20-acre prune farm on Mount Veeder, so right in the Mayacamas Mountains. Their first vintage was actually in 1973, so they just had their 50-year anniversary for their wines being produced. Like I said, this is mountain fruit, so this is above the fog line.
Right.
So you get more sun exposure, cooler days, but also warmer evenings. So you're having a little bit of a difference with those diurnal shifts in the day and nighttime. So it creates a longer growing season.
Sure.
So
just think, everybody, that this winery is 1,000 to 1,600 feet above the Napa Valley floor.
Exactly.
So they're above the fog line, and it's so cool if you look at their pictures. And this wine is so cool. Like you said, I'm getting blueberries, blackberry compote, pomegranate. Wow.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Still, like I said, it's wound a little tight just because we just opened this, but I would say for these wines open them an hour before you have company over, and get those kind of breathing a little bit before. Toss them in a decanter, double decant, toss it back in the bottle, and then go to town.
Drinking wine at 9, you can't beat it, because with this you could just enjoy it on its own. You could have a beautiful ribeye with a blue cheese sauce. You could have something that would just complement this gorgeously. Veal shank, veal marsala, something that just says, hello, welcome to Mount Veeder.
Yeah, something that's a little bit more bigger and bolder in flavors, food-wise, that you can pair with this. Just because this really needs something that's kind of robust in order to play well with
And
it.
it's gorgeous. It's just chocolatey goodness in a glass. And as always, Miss Sheila has put these on sale. And today from 3 until 4, we'll be tasting these at the wine desk. Today is May 4th. Just to let you know, if you watch this video after the fact, they won't be at the wine desk, but they will today. So, Spencer, what a grand tour. And also, quick reminder, today we have the Negro Modelo food truck at Argonaut from 1 until 2 o'clock. They're amazing in their own right. And Spencer, so are you. Thank you so much for introducing us and all of our followers to these great wines, because we make these videos for you and we so appreciate your support. So cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.